test. This is rock and roll. Time to rock it from the Delta to the DMZ.
Hello and welcome back to my channel and another travel video. We started off our trip with a pre-flight wine and 8 hours later we're in the hustle and bustle of Ho Chi Minh City. It did have these massive trees and green spaces, which was quite nice, as well as communism symbols and flags everywhere. Our first stop was coffee and we tried the famous Vietnamese filter drip coffee. It filters through from this top into a glass with condensed milk below. Give that a stir and then you pour it over ice. This was absolutely delicious, so strong, so sweet. Just a beautiful start to our morning and first day in the country. It was then time to hit the busy streets and practice crossing the road with all this traffic. We wandered along and through the Ben Thanh market filled with souvenirs and goods, as well as lots of quite nice souvenir arty tourist shops, which were quite fun to browse. There's lots of green spaces in the city, which is really nice. There was also displays for Tet or Lunar New Year absolutely everywhere. We headed to the famous cafe apartments where every apartment in this building is a different cafe. You wander up through the back and choose one and then go through the cafe to sit at the front with a view of the main drag. The one we picked was quite pretty. Sorry for the Harry cam here. We got our first salted coffee, egg coffee and some matcha ice cream to try. Didn't take us long to find a bookshop, as usual. Look at these beautiful editions. It's the actual city part. We ended up an observation tower as we were right next door, and then went to check out some more vintage, curated, arty shops that I found on TikTok. A bookshop that sells Sunny Angels, so got my first one. I got one of the hippers because I wanted to sit on my laptop, and it's the Harvest series, and I'm hoping for anything but the mushroom. Harry got the animal series.
One.
What are you hoping for? No, you pop it.
Oh gosh.
Which one are you hoping for?
I want the crocodile.
Okay, so you're supposed to be able to pop them like this.
Oh,
maybe not.
Mine work.
Alright, ready? Moment of truth.
Oh, crocodile.
What'd you get?
Oh, I got a
Oh,
parrot.
it's a bird. Show the camera. Super cute. Oh, I got the great one. Anything but mushroom, so I'm happy. Look at his little wings.
Macaw, how cute.
Super cute. Mainland, I think. The next day we were up bright and early for our day trip to the Mekong River. This area starts about 2 hours south of Ho Chi and flows through the south of Vietnam and is a real source of livelihood for the people in this area. We saw some coconut candy and crackers being made, and then we stumbled across snake wine, which is where a whole snake is soaked in alcohol for a year or two for the toxins to neutralize, and then they drink it. Comes with the snake in the bottle. Kind of tastes like tequila rather than wine.
Hello!
Hey, how are you?
This man is in holiday mode.
So, this is coconut worm, and local here, they eat it alive.
Alive.
face. Just me. Way too hard. Too hard. Who want to try first? You come here. On shoulder. Remember, if it's with you, it's love you. But if it's bite you, it's love you more. Okay? You'll be happy tonight, huh? Right. Spicy. Crazy spicy.
All the riverboats have this red eye painted on the front to ward off evil spirits.
If you put the fish line down, which means bad luck. A people, A people, A people. A. Oh, can I have an egg? This is for you. Hi, bye, yo. Second one, second time. Hi, bye, yo.
For the final part of the day, we visited a temple, and honestly, this day trip was so much fun. We just found it off Get Your Guide for only $18, and that included lunch, a fruit snack, a drinking coconut. Honestly, so worth it. So if you've got an extra day in Ho Chi Minh and want to get out of the city, would recommend heading to the Mekong. That evening, we met up with our True Travels tour group who we're going to be spending the next 12 days with. I had a delicious eggplant curry for dinner, and then our tour guide took us to this cool bar that had lots of games and things to do, including shuffleboard, which was so fun. I'd never played this before.
Oh my god.
Afterwards, we headed down the walking street, which is definitely for partying and not for me. I mean, enough said. The next day, we went to visit the Cu Chi tunnels, which are a series of underground tunnels the Vietnamese soldiers dug in the jungle during the war. It was pretty cool how, despite the Americans having tanks and machine guns, the Vietnamese soldiers managed to win the war using booby traps and much more primitive means.
She's back.
I'm like scraping my shoes.
I'm just crawling. Really?
Everyone who knows I was hunting down a lemon beer, no luck, but I did found this one I enjoy. Place we got banh mi from gave us these Lucky Charm bracelets. How cute.
Skyline.
Skyline!
Skyline, darling. Skyline, darling.
The next morning we did a bit of a walking tour around Ho Chi Minh, including going to the War Museum. This is one massive helicopter. This was the most emotionally affected I've ever been by a war museum, and I've been to a few, including Auschwitz. The Vietnam War, its torture of prisoners and effects on civilians were just awful and should never be repeated again. We went to the Notre Dame Cathedral, covered in scaffolding just like the real one, and the Saigon post office, where they strangely included Canberra in their notable cities to show the time of. To escape the hustle, we headed to Kocha Matcha, which I'd seen on TikTok, and this was just a little Japanese oasis in amongst the big city. We had a delicious matcha on coconut water here. It was then time to say goodbye to Saigon and head to
Viva Da Nang! Oh, viva Da Nang!
We flew into Da Nang and then drove to the neighbouring city of Hoi An to stay in. This was our gorgeous hotel, which was a bit of fun. This offering to the ancestors includes Pepsi, beer, wine, cigarettes, chips and soju. The city of Hoi An is filled with beautiful, colourful paper lanterns which all get lit up at night along the river, along these lantern boats, and just creates a beautiful atmosphere. I had some seafood noodles and the best Long Island iced tea I've ever had, looking over the water here.
Ich finde es gerade. Will you stay here?
We did a lantern making class which was so much fun. You glue fabric and ribbon and tassels onto this lantern base, and this is what my finished lantern looked like. Brought this all the way home.
Going across the road in Vietnam, but this guy owns it. Hey? Are you recording?
For dinner, we went to a place called Finn Coffee, which had a beautiful outdoor courtyard, and I had some duck fur.
There's a fear of it.
Oh, he looks like a little kid at school.
We had some delicious carrot cake as it was Calvin's birthday, and then we headed out on one of the lantern boats on the river where you cast out a little lantern with a candle in it and make a wish. This was super beautiful.
That is what kind.
The next morning we headed off into the Barna Hills to see the Golden Hands Bridge, which you've probably seen all over social media. Little did we know it was in the middle of a theme park. We caught a cable car up the mountain. This is actually the longest continuous cable car in the world, and it did go for ages. And then walked through a bit of the theme park to get to the bridge.
Actually walk down into here.
Yeah, so there's a lot. Roller coaster over there.
Yeah, definitely go.
Oh, yes.
That is a good one. Please share.
Love it.
We lucked out with the weather, so got a really clear view from here. Apparently sometimes it's blocked by fog. The coolest part of this bridge, other than the design, is that it's so high above the clouds. Would I recommend going to the theme park just to see a recently built bridge though? Probably not.
I've got it.
The rest of the theme park was quite strange. It had all these beautiful facades and castles everywhere, but they were kind of unfinished. Like when you walked inside, they were elaborate but empty. Welcome to Far, Far Away. You got this, babe.
You just saw it.
We are literally in the clouds right now. Indian feast on the hotel floor. In the evening, we went to the Hoi An Memories Show, a full-scale sound, lighting, visual and music spectacular. It told the story of the legends and history of modern-day Hoi An and was visually stunning. After a typical Vietnamese hotel breakfast, we headed out bike riding, which I was so excited for. We rode along to the river, jumped on a boat, and then rode around an island called the Coconut Island. They gave us a ring and a hat.
This is for the garden. Nothing wasted.
This was the absolutely incredible dish we had with our homemade rice noodles, and then it was time to cycle back to the mainland. This was the best coconut coffee of the trip, and I can't stop thinking about it. The flood was as tall as Harry. It was then time for our ring making class at this place, which is very popular online. You were led through every stage of the process, from cutting the metal, smoothing it, firing it. You could emboss or engrave whatever you wanted into it, including wording on the inner band. I added gems to mine, which was super cool. These are the rings we made, mine with the gems. And Harry's has sun, moon, stars and mountains. How cool. I have been craving yogurt, so I got a yogurt bowl. The next morning we jumped in some open top jeeps to drive down the Hoi Van Pass. This was absolutely stunning, winding road surrounded by trees with a view of the most beautiful ocean and cliffside next to us. We stopped off at this stunning waterfall for a much needed refreshing dip, and you could even slide down the waterfall.
Oh, she did it!
Back in the jeeps, we continued on towards Hue under a gorgeous sunset, but it was starting to get a bit smoggy and fumey sitting in the back as we entered the city. I had this absolutely delicious red apple tea for dinner alongside penne arrabbiata. God, I needed pasta. It'd been too long. And that is where I'm going to leave this one for now. Tune in to part 2 for Nimh Binh, Long Bay and Hanoi. Thanks for watching.
I love you, baby.